I am practically invisible. I am just a shadow. Anyway, so today I want to talk a little bit more about that video that I made on how to humble the corner out of an iPhone in 9 seconds using a $5 screwdriver. Because there's all this talk about how you need this tool that's going to do all this work for you. And it's like $100 for the tool and the bits, and you have to buy different ones for all these different devices. It just winds up being some silly $500 investment in a bunch of crap that you don't really need. And if you are familiar with this video series, you're familiar with my company culture, or you know me personally, you probably understand that I am not a big fan of these. Now, I am a fan of using good tools, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a fan of spending money on tools that are not going to bring me back what I spent on them. So I spend money on this microscope. I can now make tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars doing jobs that I could not see before. But I spend $500 on these tools. I am not going to make a dime that I could not have already made. So one of the big criticisms in that video that I've been getting has been that that in the upper right corner, where I bang the corner out of the phone using the flathead screwdriver and the, as somebody on my YouTube channel coined it, the G-Humbler, when I do that, the paint, the blue paint on the iPhone 5 comes off of that corner a small bit. And what I would like to do is propose a rebuttal to this. On that iPhone 5, in order to actually get the corner to the point where it is bent, like when people are bringing you phones that are shaped like a triangle instead of like a rectangle, you have to drop that a lot. I mean a lot. You have to drop it over and over and over and just go, It's not like it's ding, the corner's no. It's boom. And on average, again, this is not really always a scientific channel. This is a practical channel. This is a common sense channel. This is a reality check channel where I try to talk about the real world of how to make money doing this. The real world of how to deal with real situations and real people. So let's talk about demographics for a second. The people who drop their phone like this, they're the people who are going to look over it with a fine-tooth comb when it's done. The people who do this to their phone, they're not the people who are going to take out an eyepiece and go, I noticed on the upper right corner at this plateau that I have about 1 micron less of dark blue OEM Apple paint compared to before I gave it to you. No, that doesn't happen. Secondly, and very, very important, this is probably the much more important point. I wanted to bring up the first one because it was funnier, but the second point, if you look at the upper left corner of that iPhone 5, if you look at the upper left corner of that iPhone 5 that I humbled the corner out of, the one that I didn't touch, the corner that I never touched, there's more blue paint missing from that one than the upper right one. Do you know why? Because the paint comes off of the phone when you drop it! Not when I bang the corner out. Not when I apply the pressure to it. That paint comes off when you drop it onto the fucking concrete. Not when I'm bending the corner out. Now allow me to explain a little bit of how this works. So one of the biggest mistakes that newbies make when they're trying to get rid of these bent-in corners in the phones is they're smashing it from the exterior. They're smashing it from right at the outside of the corner, and that's wrong. A, you're not going to bang the corner out that way, and B, it's not going to look natural. C, above all, you're going to make it look like a mess. What I do is focus on the inside of the phone. So let's say this is the outside. Let's say this is the outside case and this is where the corner is like cracked in. I'm not like going right up here and trying to bang it out. I'm going as far as I can into here and going This way, I'm not damaging the paint on the other side. I'm also making sure to do this on a desk that's very, very smooth and laminated with several layers of clean room wipers there to keep the phone from actually getting scratched. And you gotta feel the desk I work on, that is a flat thing that is not scratching anything. It is not some cheap shit from IKEA. That was custom made. So, now another thing that gets to me is when people are going, oh, I want to go to people who use the proper tool for the job. I don't want to go to people who do not have the proper tool. And that's what really offends me. Because again, I came from the music business. I came as a tech in the music. You have no idea how many people spend $30,000 on a digitized icon. And I'm not insulting if you're one of the people who knows how everything on that works. I'm not insulting you if you use that console because that control surface allows you to intuitively work in a manner that you couldn't before, and it helps you make money. If it does, that's great. But you know what I don't like? The fact that 90% of the people that bought that thing bought it because it looks good, because customers want to see it there. And the most offensive shit in this business, it was like all the crap that people are buying because clients like to see it. And I do not want this business. I refuse to let it become a business where we start buying bullshit and giving these companies money for crap because people want to see it. I do not want to be in an industry where customers come in to get their iPhone fixed and they ask me if I have a G tool. I don't want to be in a business where customers walk in and get their board repaired and ask if I'm using Amtech or Kestrel Flux. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to be a part of that world, and I'm trying my best right now to keep that from happening. Now, one of the things that they said is, I don't want to go to a place that doesn't use the proper tool. And again, you may think that I'm making fun of you personally if you're one of the people that said that. I assure you, I am not trying to make fun of or call you out personally, because I get this message sent to me on YouTube and Google Plus no less than 3 times a day. I'm not referring to one of you. I'm referring to all of you. And this is a comment for all of you. And I'm going to propose this in another video where I talk about the most important tool that you can have, which is your brain. Because when all of you people are going, I don't want to go to a place that doesn't use the right tool for the job, what I want to propose to you is that if you spend $500 and you're using a jig that takes you a couple of minutes to set up, and I spent $5 and it takes me 9 seconds to get the job done to the same standard of quality that you are, that means that I'm using a tool that is much more valuable, which is my brain. And what I'd like to suggest is that if you're saying that it takes you longer amounts of time to do the same job after you spent hundreds of dollars on this stuff, that maybe it's not me that's missing a tool because I don't have that. Maybe it's you that's missing this because it takes you hundreds of dollars more and more time. That just adds up to hours and hours and hours over the course of a year to do the same thing. And maybe, just maybe, the reason that people are actually still coming here when I'm so ghetto and not using the right tools is because I am using the one tool that actually matters, which is my brain. And you know, a lot of you people sometimes wonder, and some of you actually have the audacity to send messages. How are you at the top of Google? How are you at the top of Yelp? You're a prick. I don't agree with half of the things you say. You don't seem professional. And you know, you must be doing black hat SEO. You must be cheating. If you think that's true, Google me. Google the domain name. Do I have thousands of backlinks on bullshit blogs from other countries on these spam websites? Or do I have backlinks from people who've linked to my content because it's helped them? In terms of Yelp, again, come into my store, call my phone number. Do I seem like somebody who's paying for reviews? Do we seem like people who go, oh, can you please check in on Yelp and like us for 10%? Fuck no! I have not done that once in my life. You know what I've done to get there? Use my brain. My salesman uses his brain. My technician uses his brain. My BGA rework technician uses his brain. My secretary, again, if you didn't guess at this point, she uses her brain. And since we all use the one tool that is of utmost importance to us, we have a good Google ranking and we have good reviews and we do well for ourselves and we're successful. It's not because of the tool. It's not because of the flux that I use. It's not because of how I bend the corner out of the phone. It's not because I have a thermal imager. It's not because I have a $600 bench power supply. It's not because I have a 39-inch television to view schematics on that's 4K. It's because I made very well sure that I am always using my brain and that I'm always encouraging the people that I hire to use their brain. It's because I'm always screening people before I hire them to make sure that they have a brain. And sometimes I fail, but it always catches up and I fire them later. So the point here is, yes, you're right. The upper right corner of that phone, it's missing a little bit of blue paint. But you know what also is? The upper left corner. And I didn't touch that corner. And you know what? The people who come in with phones, iPads, iPods that are shaped like triangles, that are shaped like cylinders, that are shaped like Tony Hawk's Pro fucking Skater. Even if I did throw that thing at the wall to get rid of the corner that was dented, they don't practical reality. Save some money.